Aloha, YouTube investors. How is everybody doing today? My name is David Yansen. Welcome to my channel. Today is October 23rd. It is Friday, 2020, and we are talking earnings this week and next week. I have already done a few videos of the holdings that I hold in my three main brokerages, which are M1 Finance, has my Roth IRA. Fidelity is my dividend growth portfolio. It is an individual account. And then I have another individual account with Robinhood. That one is my growth capital gains portfolio. It does have some dividend stocks in it, but by and large, the majority is just your Facebook, Amazon. And then I have some more risky in my opinion, and definitely risky for me, seeing how I'm about to be 45 in there as well too. I added to Fastly this morning, and I also have International Airline Group, and I also have Hawaiian Airlines and some other holdings there. So, but the main reason for that portfolio is I do the barbell approach to investing. So I have my dividend growth portfolio and my dividend aristocrat, dividend kings with Fidelity and my Roth IRA with M1 Finance, and then I have some that I believe could potentially be big. So they are speculative, like NEO is a speculative play. I still see Fastly as a speculative play as well too, but I don't own a whole lot of those. Like, it's not thousands of dollars, it's not even hundreds of dollars, it's like tens of dollars. So because I don't have a lot of money to invest, so and I am new. I am a new investor. I've only been doing this for about 15 months. I started last summer, about May, with Acorns and Stash, and then I moved over to M1 Finance because M1 Finance has fractional shares, just like Stash does, but no fees. And Stash had fees, and I think they were increasing their fees, so I went looking for another brokerage. And then I moved to, actually, I first went to Robinhood, and then I went to M1 Finance because of the fractional shares. But Robinhood was the first with no fees, but at the time they weren't doing fractional shares. So now Robinhood does fractional shares, and I signed up to buy fractional shares. So the $2,600, which by the way is a small milestone for me. First time my Robinhood portfolio has gotten to $2,600. If you want to see that video, it just 8 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, I just released it, showing all three of my portfolios, how they performed for the day. So first time $2,600 with my Robinhood portfolio. It's a nice little miniature milestone for me in my new investment journey. So check my other videos. I do have everything organized in playlists for you by brokerage, and even my smaller brokerages that I signed up just for the free stocks, like Webull and Doe Finance. I don't actually use Doe Finance, but I just wanted the free stock. I wanted to see what I would get. You know, it's kind of like a scratch off that you get at the gas station. We don't have gambling here in Hawaii, but when I lived on the mainland, I think I did scratch off one time when I lived in Long Beach, California. So that's what I saw with Doe Finance. Same thing with Webull, but then I actually needed a backup plan. So I created a small Roth IRA for in Webull. Now it doesn't look like I'm going to need that, so I might liquidate the two holdings that I have in Webull and move those either into my Roth IRA or to my individual account. So, but you can look at all those, and if you want free stocks, I do have links in the description for you as well that you can check out. So this earnings report video is about People's United Financial. This is CNBC's website that we're looking at right here. Extended trading hours, as you can see, the stock ended at $11.44. I personally, and at my cost basis is $10.50 or $10.40. In my Webull account is where I have People's United Financial in that small Roth IRA that I opened. And I have about 17 shares. So trying to get to 20. It is a nice dividend company in my opinion. They are a Dividend Aristocrat. Let me zoom out here and then we'll scroll down. And I believe that information is down here about how much they pay per dividend. Nope, it's not on that screen right there. Let's go over to summary. There it is. Okay, so you can see right here the dividend yield is 6.29%, which is high. But it might not be too bad for them. You know, they have been paying this dividend for 25 years now. So increasing it for 25 years, and the dividend amount is 18 cents. So if you look into this company and you want to invest in them, they are a regional bank on the East Coast side of the United States. Ex-dividend date is October 30th of this year. So they are kind of small cap. Revenue 1.9 billion, but like I said, I do like them for being a dividend aristocrat. And I am skeptical about banks. I own only two others, Bank of America and JP Morgan. I did do videos on those two, their earnings for this quarter as well, if you want to see those videos. But I am very skeptical about banks, and that skepticism was not helped by Goldman Sachs and what was it? Was it laundering or something that just came out in the news this week with Goldman Sachs, and then something else with JP Morgan. So I really liked Chase because after the financial recession and I lost my job and went through some financial difficulties, they were the first bank to allow me to get a checking account because the bank that I originally had was Washington Mutual or something like that, and they closed down during the financial crisis. And another bank that I had too when I was in Florida, they closed during the financial crisis as well. So, but it just always seems like something's going on with these big banks. So I am skeptical about them. So I'm kind of leaning more towards People's United Financial. If I add another one, it might be Cincinnati Financial. I believe they're a dividend aristocrat as well too. But I haven't really looked too much into them. I've only heard a little bit about them here and there, and I've read maybe one or two articles on them. So I still have a lot of looking into Cincinnati Financial before I pull the trigger on that. And probably going to get out of Bank of America and JP Morgan. I don't own a lot of shares in them. Total between the two, I think I might own 5 shares. I'm really just kind of holding on for the dividend, but right now I have other holdings that I would rather put them into. So, and their dividend yield isn't bad at all. It's actually a really nice dividend yield, like 2%, 3%, I think is Bank of America. But it just always seems like something shady coming out with them. So anyway, let's go into the earnings report here for People's United Financial. This is Seeking Alpha that has this information here. I'll zoom in just a little bit for you. This dropped almost 5 p.m. Eastern time. So it was probably, I think, 1 p.m., 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time when this came out. So they did gain 2.4% in after hours trading on that day. For quarter 3, earnings per share of 34 cents beat the average analyst estimate by a nickel and compares with 21 cents in quarter 2 of 2020. So that's nice improvement, and it's up 1 penny from quarter 3 of 2019. So improvement all our way around. Loan deferrals actually went down as well too, 1.6 billion as of September 30th of this year, down from more than 7.1 billion at the end of June. That's amazing. I mean, to reduce your loan deferrals by $6 billion, I'm not sure what they did or how they did it. I'll look into it some more and maybe do a video about it a little bit later. But that's very impressive, to reduce your loan deferrals by almost $6 billion or so. Quarter net interest income. I know this is something that banks look into and you should pay attention to when you're evaluating banks. Income of 391 million, over 391 million, and that actually fell from 405 million in quarter 2. Net interest margin of 2.97% fell from 305%. So really the only nice thing, I guess, that happened was that they beat the earnings per share, and that it was better than the previous quarter and better than the quarter from 2019. I mean, their quarter 3 provision, it says right here, for credit losses of 27 million versus 80 million in quarter 2 and 7.8 million in quarter 3 of 2019. So I should probably look into some more stuff. Their net charge-offs to average total loans increased to 0.15% from 0.08%. I personally think that this might just be because of the world recession that we're in right now. I kind of speculated that banks would be struggling, especially for quarter 2 and maybe through 2020. But I thought that regional banks might have a better chance than the big national banks as they take on more risk because they have a lower ceiling, I guess, to bring in people into their banks versus the regional banks. But People's United Financial actually is a conglomerate of several regional banks, so maybe they're taking on more risk than your typical regional bank that you find out about. So, and if we go over here to Market Beat, we can see 1022, quarter 930, consensus estimate 29 cents, reported 34 cents, like we just talked about. The gap is the same thing at 34 cents, and revenue estimate was 507 million, and their actual revenue was 499 million. So they did miss. I guess that's not a whole lot, but this bank isn't doing billions, so it is a lot. If they had missed by 20 million or so, and they were doing 20 billion with a B every single quarter, then it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But they're only, their market cap is 1 billion, so that is kind of significant, missing out on that revenue right there. So, but looking for good things for them. Looking for good things from them. Worst case scenario, they end up just being a dividend hold for me, because I am a dividend investor primarily. So I'm really not against just holding a company for the dividend, and then once they suspend it or cut it, then I just get rid of the holding, and I find someone else. So. But look them up if you're interested. Like I keep saying, they're a dividend aristocrat, so there is something to be said to being a dividend aristocrat. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it below, and I will get back to you with any answers if you have any. But I do appreciate your comments along the way. So have a great weekend, everybody. Mahalo and aloha.